Hello everyone, welcome back to BeginnersJava.com's tutorial series. This is the remake of tutorial number 2, and this is going to be based off of exactly what we were doing in C++, so hopefully it's not boring to you. These lessons are going to be almost exactly the same, all the way up through about lesson 20, at which point they'll diverge slightly, but we will be attacking the same problems. So, without further ado, we're going to type in the few lines that we had in the other lesson. Public static void main, open parentheses, string, args, open bracket, give ourselves some space to type, and above it we're going to do import java.util.scanner with an uppercase S, and down here we're going to type input scanner equals new scanner system.in scanner input. This is the one line that no matter how many times I type it, I usually get it wrong. I usually do it in the wrong order. And it's silly because once you understand the logic behind that line, you'll realize how dumb I am for screwing it up. So, without further ado, what we're going to be talking about in this lesson is the order of operations, which is going to be a mathematical concept. And we're going to be talking about debugging and using the debugger that comes with this lovely program. So without further ado, we're going to declare 3 variables of type int, and we're going to do that all using one statement. Now mind you, we could do it like this and say int a equals 0, int b equals 0, int c equals 0. We could do that, and that's totally correct and fine, but the easier way to do it is just like this. We comma separate, and we just type it just like that. It's okay to declare variables like this. There's nothing wrong with it. It can be a little hard to read sometimes, so some people don't like it when you do that. I've never run into problems with it though. Just don't go like all the way out to here and turn off word wrap so you can go crazy with it. So, alright. With that said, we're going to set a couple of values. So first off, we're going to do a system. Let me move my mouse out of the way. Huge fault of mine. I always put the mouse in the way. .out.println, and we're going to say enter a value for integer a, and we're going to follow that by a semicolon, and we're going to say input dot next int equals, a equals input dot next int followed by a semicolon. Sorry, this is very different than the way we do things over in C++. So I'm a little bit loopy about it. I just recorded the C++ video too. So, alright, this is correct. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy these 2 lines, and we're just going to paste them twice. And we're going to change where we referred to A to B and C. And so to cover what this is doing, we're writing to the screen for our user to enter a value, and then we're allowing the next keyboard input to be used as the value inside of A and B and C respectively. Now, to output a blank line in Java, there's a few ways we can do that. Just like in C++, we can use the \n inside of the string, Or alternatively, if we just want to do a single blank line, we can put in a system.out.println and just leave it empty, and that will print out a blank line. But since I've added in the \n, that should be unnecessary. What this means is that before it outputs enter a value for integer b and c, it's going to add a new line. There's no actual visible appearance of the \n aside from the equivalent of hitting the enter key on your keyboard. So with that said, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a system.out.println, and we're going to do a plus b multiplied by c. And we're going to do a quick little set of parentheses around those. And so when we do that, what this means is kind of confusing for some people because they don't know the math behind it. Now, in mathematics, there would be two ways to think about this. So let's think about if we made a equal to 9, b equal to 9, and c equal to, I don't know, 4. Okay? What that means is that we're going to have 9 plus 9 times by 4. Okay? So, or 9 plus 9 times by 4. There we go. So how would you evaluate this? Would that be 18 times 4? Or would that be 36, or 9 plus 36? Or would it be some other way? And the answer has to do with a math term that we see an awful lot in the United States in grade school and primary school. It's called PEMDAS. I know some of you might be joining me after years out of school, so if this is new to you, don't feel ashamed. What this means is it's an order of operations. It means that we solve first for parentheses, then for exponents, then for multiplication and division. Then lastly, we solve for addition / subtraction. Now the slash means that these are handled on the same level of priority. So if you end up with something where you're not sure if you should do addition or subtraction first, like let's say we have 9 plus 9 minus 9, the rule for something like that would be evaluate left to right for same priority. So in the example above, where we have a plus b multiplied by c, what that actually means is we're going to be doing 9 plus 9 times 4. And if we put it in parentheses like that, it makes a lot more sense. So what we should be expecting is 9 times 4 is 36, plus 9 equals 45. So when we give this a run, I am going to put in a blank system.out.println right here. Just remove our variables so we have a blank line. And I have an extra parenthesis there. Okay, so we're going to go figure. Come on. Debug, file, and there's my output. It's asking me to enter a value for A. We're going to do 9. For B, we're going to do another 9. And for C, we are going to do 4. And that equals 45, just as I predicted. So then, what we can sort of discern about this is that when we're using PEMDAS, we can use math predictably. Now, the only sort of caveat to this is it's not PEMDAS. There's no E. The E is a lie. because the way we do exponents is nothing more than multiplication within parentheses. And we'll talk more about that later. But for now, I want to show you guys how to use the debugger. So let's assume that I took this same statement right here. I'm going to grab another blank line, and I'm going to try putting this statement right here. I'm going to try to say system.out.println, but instead of having C, I'm going to try using D. And for those of you who know, there is no D. And you'll see immediately when I change it, it puts a light bulb right here and it says cannot find symbol, and then it tells us what the symbol is, variable D. Then it tells us the location, which is class tutorial2. Now, if I try to build this or compile this, it gives us an error right here. Now this we can sort of ignore. That's going to be a little bit beyond what I'm teaching for beginners. But if you look right here, it gives us the exact location. It says tutorial2.java, then a colon and 36. Tutorial2.java is the file name. The colon 36 is the line where the error takes place. Now again, if we look at the output, it says that it cannot find symbol, and then it tells us what symbol it's missing. So that means if we look and we see a D rather than a C, we go, oh, that's supposed to be a C. Now, assuming that we were to make a mistype and say AUP rather than out, if we give this a compile, we're going to hit OK there, and we're going to try telling it to run. Oh, no, that's going to be running an old version. See, this is telling us that it can't find variable AUP, because again, the issue is a simple misspelling. Now, there are going to be bigger errors that we can come across in the long run that have to do with logic, and logic errors are a lot harder to pin down than simple syntax. So to end this video, I want to show you guys just how easy it is to pin down an error when we leave out a simple semicolon. So we're going to go to build, and again, it just tells us semicolon expected on line 36. We click, it takes us right to line 36. We put in our semicolon, we give it a run, and it works beautifully. So without any further explanation, that's simple debugging. We're going to get a lot more into more difficult types of debugging in the future, but that's for another video. For now, my name's Damien. This has been a Beginners Java presentation, and I hope that you guys will join me, and I hope that you'll consider completing the homework. Good luck!